Welcome, everybody. I'm Pete Lewis. Claire Church is busy doing the uncanceled event today, so she's not going to be with us. I am the manager of Muse Performance Space in Lafayette. We host concerts and different types of events there. Of course, we're closed. We have all our events canceled right now. So Claire and I thought we'd reach out to a lot of fellow musicians, see how they're doing, and try to raise some funds for them since all their gigs are canceled and we're not really sure when this is all going to stop. So hopefully sooner than later. I have this fancy piece of paper here that, and this will be in the link too, but at Venmo, at Muse Performance Space, or also on our website, museperformancespace.com, there's a PayPal button if you would like to donate some funds to help musicians. And we're just donating all that money to the musicians to help them out. And so today our guest is Bri Harris, and I met Bri playing CJRO gigs, I think, and got to know you as a really great saxophone player and really wonderful soloist. And then I realized there's this whole other side of you that, you know, is brilliant with the business side and, you know, what all us musicians should aspire to. And you seem to really have your finger on that pulse. But can you just give the listeners a little bit of background, like where you came from, how you got into music or into the saxophone and jazz and things like that?
Yeah, so right now I am a saxophonist by trade, but a musician, artist manager, and kind of creative consultant in general. But I got my start on saxophone and with jazz music, probably like a ton of other people did, which was basically, you know, beginning and then middle school band. I think I chose the saxophone it was almost an arbitrary decision. I was like, well, I've heard the saxophone on the radio and I haven't heard clarinet and flute as much. So I thought it would be a cool instrument to play, and then had the opportunity to play in a pretty great middle school jazz band, and that really got me excited about jazz music, studying it a little bit more, played all through middle and high school, and then ended up majoring in music in college. So I went to the University of Alabama for my undergrad, did a jazz studies degree there, had a lot of really great teachers, and then ended up out in Colorado because I came out to graduate school at the University of Northern Colorado and did a master's degree there. So I've been in the area since graduating, ever since then, graduated in 2014. And so myself and my husband, who's also a saxophonist, we've been out here for, I think, like 8.5 and 7.5 years, respectively. So quite a while. And we love Colorado, love playing around the area. I play in a variety of projects as a freelance musician. I own and manage a 9-piece funk and soul band called The Burrows, which is really fun and project I've been really busy with in the last several years. And then I also basically own and run an arts management and consulting company where I work with a variety of clients, including musicians, but also visual artists, creative organizations, and it's super fun.
Great. I want to add that I really enjoyed the tracks that I got from the Burrows.
Oh, awesome.
Great stuff. I can't wait to see you guys live.
Yeah, I can't wait to be playing live again too.
I bet. And then the workshop you gave us at the Muse was just fantastic. There should have been 100 people there. I mean, it was pretty well attended, but I mean, it was so organized, and so people listening to this need to reach out to Bri because she's really got it together. So you've been doing a lot of work just lately with trying to help us all. Can you give a little bit of background, like what you've been doing to help out, and maybe some information you can point to people to, some links, or maybe just to your website or whatever?
Yeah. So in the past month, really past several weeks, that we've been experiencing this pandemic, and everyone under stay-at-home orders. One of the clients I've been working with a lot, that I've actually worked with for years, is our Greeley Creative District. And we've been gathering a lot of resources for artists during coronavirus, like how to cope with the economic impact, how to get connected with benefits, also how to keep connecting creatively with people. And so I've kind of taken a deep dive into some of that information that I've tried to, lay it out for people in a clear way myself too. So I like hopped on and did a Facebook and Instagram live on Friday about that. But just things for artists to know, this new CARES Act that got passed has a lot of provisions that, at least in theory, as soon as they get rolled out to the states, should really benefit independent artists and freelancers. So, historically, if you are a freelancer or self-employed person, you don't get paid through a W-2 income job and therefore aren't eligible for, say, traditional unemployment benefits. With this new CARES Act and specifically the pandemic unemployment assistance, it covers 1099 employees, freelancers, self-employed people. And so for all musicians or, owners of music-based businesses that right now are essentially out of work for the short term, they should be able to access those benefits as soon as it rolls out through the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. So that's really great. Happy to share links there, but really the main one to look out for is the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, their website. As soon as that pandemic unemployment assistance is launched, it should be something that benefits a lot of you guys out there, a lot of freelancers and artists. And your income you don't have to have your income have dropped to zero. Mm-hmm. Say if you have a mix of income like we all do, where maybe you're doing some remote work, but you had a lot of gigs that were canceled. From everything I've read and researched, you should still be able to access that on some kind of, adjusted or sliding scale. No.
Would that be coloradogov.org type of thing, or is it a special?
Yeah, I think so. I could find the specific link, but if you just Google Colorado Department of Labor,
okay,
that's where that specifically is. Another really great resource, because another benefit that's been rolled out through this CARES Act is are these Paycheck Protection Program loans specifically for small businesses. Well, they're for small businesses, nonprofits, but they're also for self-employed people, independent contractors. And what they are, in a really short summary, is a forgivable loan to cover primarily payroll expenses. And the idea there is they're trying to encourage small employers or even self-employed people to keep people on payroll. And if you do, that first 8 weeks of the loan is forgivable. That also just got launched as of Friday. Their SBA loans. So the place to learn about that is sba.gov, or locally in the state, the Colorado Small Business Development Centers, SBDC. So either of those resources should have more information on those programs as well.
I actually did apply for a loan for the Muse.
Yeah. How did that go?
It was super easy. I was like, that's it, So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah. And I know my daughter, she's a guitarist in North Carolina. She applied for it as well. So yeah, we'll see. And it's great that, it's pretty fast that these things are coming out, to help people out. So
yeah, it's both. From what I've seen and talked to a lot of musicians, it's still kind of a mess. Obviously, it's kind of landmark legislation and programs that are being rolled out at a relatively light speed pace for government. Yeah. So I know there's, some things are still kind of a mess, but I really hope that, at least in the short term, it's some direct assistance to artists. No.
For sure. And like I mentioned, I'll put as many links as I can when I post this on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and so forth. So future projects, like let's say this kind of dies down a little bit, where are you heading? What do you have in the works that you are looking forward to?
Yeah, so the boroughs we have, really our season, our kind of big performance season tends to be summer into the fall. So we're crossing all of our fingers that we still get to play some of those summer dates. Have a lot of really great shows around here in the Denver area. Are slated to go back to Alaska and play at Salmon Fest, which is this awesome festival in the Kenai Peninsula area. That's in August. So doing that, traveling kind of, regionally in the state, and then also sort of out here in the Mountain West. And then longer range in the fall, planning a fall kind of East Coast tour, probably to sort of DC, Virginia, maybe as far north as Philadelphia and New York. Sort of working out all the dates for right now in a music booking environment that is kind of turned upside down.
Sure.
Crossing all of our fingers that that's happening. Also have some jazz projects coming up. Have a residency with Matt Smiley, technically on the books at Nocturne in June. So also crossing our fingers that will still happen. And other than that, I think just trying to write a lot of music, branch out into some other things other than saxophone too. I've been, writing and doing some more singer-songwriter stuff just at home. I'm trying to teach myself guitar at the house too, which is an instrument I've never really learned. So that's been really fun and kind of therapeutic as well. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I started writing songs in the fall, and I got a little detoured from other projects I had to do, but I found that it was really fun. I struggled with the lyrics part of it a little bit, but it was so different than writing like a regular jazz tune. But I really enjoyed the process,
Yeah. Well, and that's what, I found that to be really, fun and creative and therapeutic, because I work in a band that has 9 people and we do, music with lyrics and essentially are co-writing together all the time, more or less. It's really kind of opened up my palette of, creative tools to access just beyond kind of the jazz musician world. So that's been really fun.
Yeah. So, here we are doing all this stuff. Do you see things going back to like the way they were? Is this going to have an impact on how we do things in the future? For example, are there going to be more streaming concerts, or do you see people are going to just flood out to the clubs and concerts and stuff because we didn't realize we were missing this, we're at home watching Netflix instead of going out to hear you play, or you know what I mean? Or do you see maybe a combination of both? Or
man, I'm certainly not an expert or a prophet. So I have no idea. I think it depends on a lot of different factors. I will say one thing. I hope that there's a general appreciation of music and the arts in general that comes out of this, whether that's people investing in local venues and going out to shows or engaging with people online. But I think as far as musicians go, what we will see, or my prediction, is that if people already don't have a mix of in-person and remote work going on and income streams, they're probably going to be thinking about that a lot more. Not necessarily prepping for if something like this happens again, but just having that flexibility. I see a lot of people who have never really gotten into recording technology getting into that right now. So I think that will continue. Honestly, I think it's just going to produce a generation of musicians who are even more versatile and well-equipped with technology, well-equipped in different styles, and able to collaborate in different ways than ever before. So musicians are really resilient. Obviously, music has survived every disaster, man-made or from natural causes, that's ever happened. So the music's never going to go away. I think just the way people are making it and engaging with it might evolve and change.
That sounds great. Do you want to leave the listeners with any words of wisdom or anything you want to say?
Yeah, I would say just, if you're a musician during this time, hang in there, and and also keep creating in a way that feels like the right fit for you right now. Maybe it's not being in the shed for 8 hours a day. If we're all going through something brand new and something that's really emotionally and, oftentimes physically exhausting. But the music will be there for you, when and how you decide to access it. And then for listeners, just keep supporting independent artists, small venues, small business, as much as you can. Even those small dollar amounts, all of that makes a huge difference, I think.
Sure does. Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
thanks. I want you to have the good rest of the day, and say hello to Joel for me.
yeah, thanks,
And
Pete.
hopefully we see you on the big band soon.
I know. Yeah, hopefully we're all together playing again soon.
And
So
please send me any links that you want, the borough and everything you've done. I'll make sure I put that in the posts.
awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye, Pete.